Okay, guys, I'm here with Chris Gonzales on my team, and I wanted to take a quick minute, introduce him, and also just ask him some questions, kind of get to know him a little better. So, quick back history. Chris reached out to us back in, man, how long has he been now?
I want to say 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
He was selling Cutco knives. He cold calls Lauren on a Monday night at like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. The old neighbor had given our information to him and to sell some knives. So anyways, I'm like, Lauren, who are you talking to? And she's over here like being nice on the phone, and she's like, so-and-so gave our phone number, and I'm like, tell him to come to the office on Monday and let's see what he's got. So he comes to the office, we sit down, and he goes through his pitch and gave him some tips. I didn't buy any knives though. I probably was a little disappointing, Comes all the way to the office, and I don't buy any knives. And at the end of it, I asked him, I was like, do you appreciate this? Us taking the time to sit down with you to do this? And he's like, yeah. I said, cool. Write me a note and tell me you appreciate this time, and maybe we can talk again about it. And so he did, and he wrote me a note, a handwritten note, showed up in my office about 2 weeks later. Anyways, so it was impactful whenever I first met him. And I gave him some tips on some things that we do at CB Realty with our database, how we work with our clients, and how we stay in touch, and just to continue to grow our business. And so he went in and he implemented a lot of those things when you were working there, right?
Became like an assistant manager, had like an internship, I guess you could call it, moved out to Pearland, Friendswood, and then spent the summer over there. And once I was done playing over there, that's when we met up for coffee here.
So what'd you do at the end of the summer?
Wrote you a note, and then we met up for coffee, and then one thing led to another. I saw this place get built.
That's
it
right.
was down to the studs. I was wearing my boots and I got a nail my first day walking in here. Wasn't waterproof.
A little bit of a
anymore.
construction zone.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on then. Yeah, I remember that. You wrote me the note and you're like, man, I did all these things. They made me an assistant manager or office manager, some sort like that in the office. And he said, I want to come work with you. And that was a big ask. And at the time, we were in a spot in our business where we were regrouping, building back. It was definitely, I would say, God's timing was involved there.
Yeah, one person. It was just one person.
It was me, Teresa. We were still working in. Anyways, Chris, now that you've been in this business now for 5 years,
right? 5.5.
5.5 years. What would you say what do you enjoy the most?
I enjoy the stories. Meeting, young and old. I love hearing everyone's unique story while they're buying or while they're renting. It's a pretty unique adventure with each individual, I would say. And I particularly like the elderly. They have better stories. They live longer lives. If you want any opinions or suggestions about anything, they have a lot to say.
That's right.
A lot to say. An appointment.
A lot of wisdom to share.
Yeah, an appointment can usually last to an hour, sometimes 2 hours with them.
And maybe you're only talking about real estate for 5% of the time.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah,
the rest of it, you're just kind of trading some stories and you're listening.
Those are my favorite appointments.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I share the same thing. I mean, sitting down with an elderly couple, hearing their story about their home. Sometimes they've been in this place 20, 30, 40 years, and just hearing about their family and how they raise their kids there and how they've seen everything change. And it's pretty special to be a part of.
Oh yeah. I forget which seller it was, but he was in real estate for some time or was thinking about it, and he told me the house sells itself. And I was like, I feel like it's the biggest lie though. There's a lot of ins and outs.
Yeah.
As soon as you have 15 seconds to walk through the door. That was the biggest thing you taught me.
Yeah.
Like 15 seconds, if you don't feel at home, feel that this can't be your future home, then we should just walk out and go to the next one.
Well, spend a little time, but you normally in that first 15 to 30 seconds when you walk in a house, like, can you picture yourself there? I see it, the client sees it, we all kind of get this like silent, don't want to talk about it, just kind of moseying around, and you feel it, and whenever the right one shows up and everybody gets a little excited, but they don't want to get too excited, and so that's pretty spot on. What would you say to someone when they're like, man, getting into real estate, you just get to make your own schedule?
You really don't. I feel like in the first coming years, there's a lot to learn. The one thing you can't teach is experience. And I had a lot of questions for Chris. Had a lot of questions for Karen too when she came onto the team. Yeah. Even Lauren sometimes. But the one thing you really can't teach is experience. And that's something I learned,
You just got to go through it.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways a deal can go down that it's like chess. I mean, there's no easy way to win, and there's no easy way to get to the end there. It's a process, it's a journey.
Yeah, and, even contracts, you know. I remember Karen, shout out Karen, she's another one of our agents here. But the way they taught me was just to do it. Just to do it and you'll figure it out. Like, present it to us, and then, you know, we'll tell you what you did wrong, learn why you did it wrong. And same thing, like we can go through the process of inspections. You know, young kid, 19 years old.
Don't know anything about houses. Don't own a house.
Just totally oblivious to what it takes. And we sat down, go through inspection reports. I'll Google whatever questions I had. We'll compare notes. But yeah.
Kind of one of those things, until you go through it, you just don't know. And that's one thing I'm really proud of about our team, is we have a wealth of experience here between everybody on team, with Karen, Teresa, Steve, Linda, my mom, my dad in the construction business. It's over 70 to 80 years combined in either real estate or construction knowledge that we have to offer our clients. So, and that doesn't come without time. You know, it doesn't come without just going across that battlefield time and time again. So we asked you, what do you think about, you know, or what's your favorite thing about real estate? We asked you about, you know, timing, or like, you know, making your own schedule. Tell us what's something that you enjoy to do in your own free time? Like what's something that you get excited about?
I would say being an educator. That's the number one thing. I'm not much of a showboat, you know, going out. I let people ask me, if you know me, you know I'm in real estate. And if the question comes up, you know, I love to educate people, because, you know, everyone knows they're realtors. The family has realtors in it. And at the end of the day, like, if I'm the best educator, like, that's all I could do for friends and family. Like, at the end of the day, if you don't choose to work with me, it's fine. But we can be an educator in the sense of, like, this is how it works, this is the process, this is what things you want to line up for yourself. And hopefully that gains us the business, but, you know.
I think that's a good approach. You know, at the end of the day, people don't know. And if they've done something 10 years ago, things have changed. You know, costs have changed, right? Cost of homes, sales prices, who pays for what does a roof cost? How much does it cost to get something touched up? You know, is this something that we should be really worried about? Is it not? And if it is something we need to worry about, we need to rope in a pro. We're not an inspector, but we've seen enough inspection reports to where we know who to call when we should call them.
When I first started in Spring Branch, because, you know, we've always worked in Spring Branch, and I think the average sales price when I started working here in Spring Branch was around $350. And now it's at like $425. That's 5 years. That's a 5 year difference.
And I mean, to your point, I've been in the Spring Branch area now for about 12, 13 years. And
got some years,
you know, average sales price was what, 220, 210, you know, at that time. So, and that's part of the reason why we've really invested in Spring Branch. Is it's a market that just goes up. So, well, cool. So what do you personally like to do? Like, what's your hobbies?
Sand volleyball. I love sand volleyball. I just can't get away from it, just like you in golf. Trying to get into golf right now. I got a date on the calendar, August 30th.
He's a lot better at volleyball than I am at golf, just so you know.
But no, it's just, and meeting new people, you know, keeping myself active, and being able to, you know, spread my name across the field as well, not only in the business, but, you know, and educator also in sand volleyball. Get some tips out there, you know. And that's pretty much the only two athletic hobbies. I would say the other hobbies we have is probably going out to different museums. We live in the medical center, so we're right in the midst of all of the museum. And there's a lot. I didn't realize how much there was, but man, it's a lot of museums.
Good restaurants. A lot of really good food.
And that's another thing too, like new restaurants. I can't keep tasting the same restaurant. I want to try something new. So if you ever need a good place to go eat, I mean, only a text away, and can shoot you some places, because I know a lot of places with good food. And thanks to you too. Found that hole in the wall on Long Point.
Man, that's one of the things I pride myself in, is finding some top taco choices in town, man. I mean, I'm a taco connoisseur, so. Well, cool. Well, guys, this is Chris Gonzales of CB Realty. If y'all have any questions, reach out to us, but I just wanted you to find out a little bit more about him.